biblical principles, right? And I trust that will be a blessing for all of us. And after that talk, we will have some time for question answers. If anyone has any questions and answers, you all have questions. Uncle Stanley will have the answers. Okay, and then after that we'll have some. We arranged some light. Actually, you can say high refreshments and light dinner. It is somewhere around that. You come to me later, I'll tell you the menu. Okay, but very quickly, Uncle Stanley and Auntie Esme, they've actually been a mentor to many pastors. They've been a pastor of pastors. They have traveled all over the world, training people with just basic, family life seminars and practical living. And he's traveled all over the world doing that. Currently, they are based in Bangalore, but they were based for many, many years in Bombay. This is Uncle Stanley's, I would think, fourth visit to our church. But for many of us, this is the first time you're seeing him because you joined recently. And I also want to say that they have been married for, any guesses? We're married for 46 years. Let's give them a hand. 46 years. We're married for 46 years. Okay. And apart from that, they have 3 children. All 3 are married and they are grandparents 4 times. 3 times? You never know. So with that, let's give a hand to Uncle Stanley and welcome Uncle Stanley on stage.
Still keyed up. Okay. Just last month, we finished celebrating our 46th wedding anniversary. So I would say 46 not out and still batting. Somebody said 50. Tere muh mein shakkar ho. Happy, we will be happy to celebrate another 4 years' time and look forward for that great occasion. I have done this seminar before because I compiled a book some time back called Living Life Debt Free. And from this book, last time when I came, must be about 3-4 years ago, I did 2 chapters. One was how to do budgeting and how to get out of debt. So that's what I did one. And the second session was to do with how to save and how and where to invest. So, but many of you are not there other than about 7-8 people. So you will not know what I said, doesn't matter. And if you want to hear what I said, tell him, he'll call me again. So that's what it is. But today, the topic that is allotted to me is developing sales resistance. And so if you look around, sometimes you must have seen a small video clip. A lady is dying. She's almost in a coma. And then people are trying to talk to that. And she's, in a coma, can't wake up. Then somebody says to her, that person in a coma, there is a sale in so-and-so shopping malls. She just gets aware how much. And so, that word sale, it is exaggeration, but often some people do get tempted. We have guided some people where my church was located is in a place called Kolaba. It's a nice location because on one side we had Mr. Ratan Tata and the opposite side, one of the Ambanis still lives there. They both live neighborhood. So if you came to my area, you could either see Ambani or Tata or Mehta. One of them you would see there. And of course, I don't know whether you'll get a cup of tea from either two, but you can get it if you came to my house, even I live there. Anyway, so, but on that road, the Kolaba Causeway Road, right at the other end, there is a huge naval barracks. And one of the young men who was in the barracks, who lived there and who worked in the naval ships, he would periodically fall into debt so that, if your salary comes on 30th of the month, by 25th he's run out of money and he would borrow some money from his colleagues. And then he would return it as soon as he gets his salary. But then the date of borrowing, instead of 25th of the month, became 22nd, then became 20th, then became 18th. So then he was asked, how come you're getting into debts and it is getting bad towards because you are going further and further away from where you have to pay back. And this was discovered because he came back with one pair of shoes. And the guy, his roommate said to him, one pair of shoes? He said, yes. There was a sale, and there is one very famous brand called Metro brand. He said, there was a sale, 70% sale, and I just bought one. I needed one. So his roommate said, look, you have already 6 pairs. Do you need the 7th pair when you are in debts? You got to be careful. So he was guided, you must get out of this thing. He said, no, but there is a sale. He said, Metro always has sale. Every shop has a sale, perennial, but we get tempted. If I don't take advantage of it, I will miss it. And therefore, so then he encouraged him. That is, the roommate encouraged this guy. He said, do one thing. Only go with enough funds in your pocket. Those days, there was no credit card, debit card. He said, go enough money for your travel or some food. So he only went with 100 or 200 rupees. And when he would go past in his vehicle or bus or whatever, and he would look at the thing, he would suddenly feel the urge, but there was nothing in his pocket. So he would have to come home. By the time you come home, something else came over him and he was able to say no. But he needed that, developing sales resistance. That was one technique that was used. Some people have used the techniques to develop sales resistance. Like one guy whose name was Sam, he came to me and he was in debts and very bad debt. So he came to me and he had a credit card which he was used. So he came and gave me the credit card and said, you keep this credit card. If I am in desperate need, I'll come to you. I'll have to explain to you. I'll have to talk to you and I will win you over to get my credit card back. So you keep it. But looking at you, I don't feel the courage to come to take paying my card again. So he says, you keep it with you. And he did that. And he managed to have resistance because whenever he had the urge, the card was not with him. He could not buy anything that he wanted. And it took him 2 years before he was completely set free from the urge of set free from his debts, but he developed that sales resistance. So we want to see how we can develop sales resistance. So trust you follow with me as I take you through this particular chapter and hope you enjoy whatever I'm going to say. So here is it. So there are other words that I use. Buy now, pay later. That is Satan's best advertiser. Sin now, pay later. That's what he says. 10-day free trial. No obligation offer. One of a kind offer. Well, drawing from this particular story, but as you look at this story, don't worry about the story. You will find extreme parallel in our current day life, how exactly that technique is being used by which we are being fooled. I get every few months, I get a letter saying it comes from Reader's Digest. He said, we have taken a survey in the neighborhood and we discovered you are a very important and influential person. And so we're giving you a special offer of 33% discount. Yeah. And I noticed this letter has come to everybody in the neighborhood. So it's a technique to just drive something in you so that you say, I am the selected one, I am the chosen one. I recall many years ago, we used to have a game. And so I'm going to tell you the game. After I tell you, we can never play the game again. But that is, I'll tell you the game anyway. We would make all the people stand in a circle. Say there are about 15, 20 people. And then I would take a piece of paper and a pen. I said, tell me, we are how many? I said, 20. So I said, tell me names of 20 birds. So they will give me sparrow, crow, nightingale, all that I write down. 20 years. Okay. Now I'm going to come to you and privately tell in your ear the name of a bird. But out of those birds, one is the peacock. He is the national bird, the most beautiful, the most, the desirable one. So after I announced all of you, when I blow the whistle, the one who is peacock has to run and all other birds have to go and chase him. The one who catches him, that bird will be the winner. I said, all right. So I go and whisper into everybody's ear. I look at this, whisper, and then tick mark. Go to the whisper and tick mark. I said, I come back. And then I blow the whistle. The funny thing is that everybody starts running, but nobody's catching anybody. And the peacock is saying, why nobody's catching me? Because everybody is a peacock. Those who didn't understand, ask their neighbor. Now, in other words, I never gave the names of crow, sparrow, or nightingale. I told everybody, you are peacock. And then you can feel, even when you tell them, you can feel the change in their whole posture. And when they're running, nobody's chasing them. And that is how it is. We are being fooled or manipulated, just like I manipulated them and made them feel. And then they realized, I said, so you thought you're the only peacock? And then I had to do the debriefing after the game. So, but you see how it plays a role when somebody tells you, you are the peacock, like that. But they don't know everybody's a peacock. So this manipulation does work. So let's look at what happened with Eve. All right. Now, what was the perfect environment? Let's look at it. Eve was the crowning achievement of God's creative power. She was a co-regent with her husband and lacked nothing. How do you tempt a king or a queen? Impossible to tempt. But she was in that prestigious place, honorable place, as being the co-regent, the queen of the whole world, the whole earth. Eve had not committed any sin so far, and it would be tough to make her disobey. She was not prone to disobey. She was prone to keep a walk of righteousness. Eve lived in a perfect environment. The ambience was free of pollution and free of defilement. Perfect environment. Eve had an abundance and a variety of food. It would be difficult to make her discontent, right? It is difficult to make her discontent. And Eve had no fear of poverty, sickness, old age, or death. So far, these things had not entered the world. So she would not have to worry and make provision for all these issues in the days to come. Eve had a perfect husband. She could always take his advice anytime if she needed it. All right. Eve and her husband Adam daily had fellowship with God, which means she could always, if she had any questions, she could always check with the husband or even ask God himself. That would be a wonderful privilege. Then Eve and her husband walked with God in the cool of each day. And there was no reason for any dissatisfaction. God himself is with you. What more do you want? I mean, he is the answer to anything and everything you want. So there is no scope for dissatisfaction. And Eve had no tensions or pressures, as I said, with in-laws or neighbors or relatives. She did not have to keep up with the Jonases, nor try to appease anyone or impress anyone. Eve had a fulfilling job of being a helpmate to her husband, and she could be busy with her job and may not be interested in a conversation with a stranger. So in this kind of scenario, how can you lure Eve to make a wrong move? How to make her a wrong decision? And the answer is marketing department. They can cause it to happen, and that is how you want to capture them. And serpent, and therefore Satan was able to do that. All right, he was able to do that. And let's see what we have here. Not switched on. Okay, it's working. Let's see what we have. Being content with food. There's a verse in the Bible. It says, being content with food and clothing, using and caring for the possession that we have, and keeping our focus on the purpose for which God has made us. This is a way to get a focus. But then Eve, as we already said, we saw how she was made. We saw Eve was the crowning achievement of God's thing. Eve had not committed any sin. Eve lived in a perfect environment. Eve had an abundance and variety of food. She had no fear of poverty, sickness, old age, or death. Eve had the perfect husband. Eve and her husband had daily fellowship with God. Eve and her husband walked with God, and therefore, in the cool of the day, Eve had no tension, pressures with in-laws, neighbors, or relatives. And Eve had a fulfilling role as a helpmeet. In other words, there were 10 points of Eve, which would ensure that she would not be lured. Very difficult to do that. And so we must do that. So carefully planned appeals to our human weaknesses designed to make us discontent with what we have, so that we rationalize buying things that we know we do not need and should not have. If Eve could become discontent with all of these, there is little hope for us unless we identify and reject the subtle tactics of alluring advertising. All right. So what are the subtle tactics? I'll give you an example. It will come up, but I'll just tell you in advance. Nowadays, when couples get married, they already start life with some basic minimum thing. They have a room, they have a bed, they have some sofa, some chairs to sit, and they have a few kitchen vessels, if not many. They have something to cook on, so gas or some electric burner, and they have a mixer grinder, and they have a refrigerator. That's the basic things people like began. But in our era, my era, all right, that is many years ago, these luxuries were not there. We began life with a room that was there. We didn't have a bed. We used the mattress and kept it on the floor. We had 2 folding chairs, which I still have it after 46 years. We still have it. And fridge was out of question. So that was it. We had a few vessels. We had a wick stove. You may not know this, okay. But if you know, then it betrays how old you are. Anyway, so that's what is it. So in our era, a fridge was super luxury. But let's say you had parents who, after you got married and 4-5 years later, parents had an old Kelvinator or Godrej size, 165 liters. That was all that we had those days. Small, refrigerator. Kelvinator and Godrej are the only 2 brands, and they gave it to you. You could be a proud owner of a 165 liters Kelvinator or Godrej brand, and you could feel really elated and proud in your neighborhood that you are the one who had a refrigerator. The only problem was, after that came the television. And the television showed a 2-door refrigerator. And they showed how it opens and how this is temperature, this month's temperatures here, and how this and then when you went to your own refrigerator, which you were very proud of, you opened the door and shut it. Especially the housewife who is using it regularly, she was feeling day by day discontent. So she begins to nag her husband and say, we should have a 2-door. We should have a 2-door. And he says, see, nobody can afford even 1 door. At least, thank God, our parents are good enough. They've given us. No. We are outdated. We should have 2 doors. And also there is a constant friction. And he says that, fridge itself is costly. 2-door is out of question, doesn't fit a budget, but the friction goes on until they visit some other friend's house. And guess what? The friends have a 3-door fridge. वो रात को पति की चटनी हो जाती है. इसी देखा, they have 3-door fridge. हम तो ये बाबा आदम के जमाने का फ्रिज है. So it creates discontent. So that advertisement on the TV produces discontentment. Many of you would have heard of a movie called Bambi. It was a animated movie produced in 1952, but the year it was produced, it shows about the deer, a mother deer which produces a baby deer, and the whole jungle is alive, and all the baby deer is growing and grows into a beautiful other small deer, and everything, the life around it, very good. And then one day some hunters come, and then there is panic in the jungle. And as there is panic in the jungle, and then the shooting takes place from the hunters, and the hunter shoots that particular mother deer, and the trauma that the baby deer goes through is shown on this particular movie. The year this movie was released, that year, the sales of guns which are used for hunting and bows and arrows which are used for hunting, the sale of that year in USA dropped down by $8 million. Now, 1950 to 8 million, I'm just exaggerating probably. If it is now, it is like drop of $8 billion. So that would be a drop. That is a huge drop for the market, and people who invested would have gone bankrupt. So one movie, one animated movie, not even a real animated movie, produced that kind of impact. And these are all adult hunters, supposed to be bravo man. They are getting affected and they are not buying that particular equipment. So the advertising has this power. The power of alluring advertisement can make a difference. So unless we are fortified, we will not be able to do that. Imagine $8 million being affected as a result of all this. So we need to do that. So what do the people did it? Let's look at this. The subtle tactics of advertising. Anybody remembers this one? So nowadays, the traditional image of Satan is an acceptable figure, and his values of envy, jealousy, pride are used to promote the products. All right. Now, in the Sunday school, we teach no envy, no pride. I was once, I'd gone to the Sunday school children, and I was trying to tell them the story. See, nowadays, people don't believe in Satan, don't believe in the devil. So I'm trying to tell them a story that the devil is real and you should be careful. So I asked the children, have you seen the devil? I'm expecting an answer. No, sir. But they all said, yes, sir. I said, you've seen the devil? Yeah, where is it? On Onida TV. So my whole punchline is gone as a result of whatever I was going to say. And so he's so loving and acceptable. See, the smile on his face is too good. But that is the beauty of Satan, that he has an alluring smile. And that is the one that they can do it. So these words that here are coming, pride, envy, and are becoming acceptable words. And you will soon see the brand that is being advocated is a anti-God, anti-moral values, anti-society, anti-establishment that will come soon. Because Satan is not only selling you something, he is making you, buy into his whatever world that is there. And so we'll look into these issues. Here is there. 3 out of 4 doctors would recommend Flora Proactive mini drink. 3 out of 4 doctors. Which 3 doctors and which 4 doctors? Research says. Which research? Yeah, these statements are used. Research says that if you drink water from the tap, this will happen. So anything, they will put anything. Say 92.4% of the statistics is made on the spot. So you see, the manufacturing of these kind of statements hoodwinks us, and we get into the trap of this whole thing. Sorry. Another one is here. What does it say? Okay. It's white chief, but it is white mischief. So you now see, you are promoted with the idea of mischief, and there is a mischievous image that goes along with it. All right. So you see, this is being promoted in that whole process that is there. And here is you don't worry about this, but because this video will work, but you will not hear the sound thereof. Does anyone know this? It'll work. It'll work. All right. Let's see if it works. Volume is enough. Yeah. अभी प्रोडक्ट क्या है और मॉडल क्या है, क्या संबंध है? Now, listen carefully. Listen carefully. If you know anything about how men are wired and how women are wired, you will understand the psychology behind this. The men are wired by their eye gate. The women are wired by their feel gate. You want to manipulate a woman, you got to manipulate their feelings. If you want to manipulate a man, you have to manipulate what he sees. You look at advertisement, you will look at any product. It is whatever the product that is. You will see a huge hoarding where there is a woman which is semi-clad, half nude, and where her neckline is trying to meet the hemline. All right, that's the best way I can describe. Leave rest to your imagination. All right, and along with it, there is a product. The product is this small somewhere in the corner, but this is the huge one. And the idea being that when a man is driving or going in his vehicle, he sees that picture, and that picture attracts him because men are captivated by what their eye gate is. Once they see that picture, immediately and then they see that small product and they feel positive feelings about a product. Why? Because they saw something. So this is the thinking behind it, to manipulate us. And this is the word of allurement producing discontentment, promising you something for no relationship with the product. And that is how it is. We can go other for the women's side also, but just to tell you, this is how it is. These are all, I just given you a sample of these advertisements. All right. Let's go further. Come to Marlboro country. All right. This is a very famous cigarette brand. Did you know that Marlboro cigarette was meant for women? It was meant for women. It was a feminine cigarette. By advertising campaign, it changed into a macho man, the cowboy feeling. I've got something written down. Just let me read it for you. Macho adverts of Marlboro cigarettes, but notice the statutory warning is so small and blurred. Can you read this? The warning is there. Statutory warning, like what you say, cigarette smoking is injurious to health. Or in the West, they say cigarette smoking is the cause of cancer. So says Surgeon General of USA. But it is so written in a font, and the font is cramped that you cannot read it. That's the main goal. He always has the, the small line, which is small print, so that you will not read that, but this will give you the impression to do that. Have you seen another advertisement? Live life king size. Yeah. So, yeah. And other one is rule the world. So if you smoke this, you will rule the world. That is how it is. But what is the real thing behind it? Here is, but secondary smoke also kills. Of course, a second-hand smoke kills. So the cowboy's horses himself, if he's smoking Mr. Marlboro, then his horse is dying there. So that is the tragedy of it. And second smoke does kill. People are affected, and though innocent people, and therefore cigarette smoke not only causes damage to the person, it causes damage to the community. Here is the thing that is there. Let me read for you. The Marlboro man is a figure used in tobacco advertising campaign for Marlboro cigarettes. In the United States, where the campaign originated, it was used from 1954 to 1999. The Marlboro man was first conceived by Leo Burnett in 1954. The image, it was a rugged cowboy or cowboys in nature with only a cigarette. The ads were originally conceived as a way to popularize filtered cigarettes, which at the time were considered feminine. The Marlboro advertising campaign is said to be one of the most brilliant ad campaigns of all times. It transformed a feminine campaign with the slogan, formerly mild as May, into one that was masculine in a matter of months. Although these were many Marlboro men, the cowboy proved to be the most popular. This led to the Marlboro Cowboy and Marlboro Country campaign. Listen now carefully. 3 men who appeared in the Marlboro advertisement: Wayne McLaren, David McLean, Dick Hammer, all died of lung cancer, thus earning the Marlboro cigarette, specifically Marlboro Reds, one of the brands, the nickname Cowboy Killers. Now that truth, nobody talks. All right. So when we are looking at the Marlboro, please do some research. Then you will know whether you want to go for Marlboro or not. Yeah. So this background thing, but because advertising is a pack of lies and an imagery to do that. Somebody said this is just a fictitious one. He said one man died and went to heaven, and then he was told that you have a choice: you can stay in heaven or you can stay in hell. Both choices you have. So he looked at heaven. It looked fairly good. It fairly satisfactory and every way good. But he said, since you're giving me option, can I just go and have a look? He said, sure. So he went there for a glimpse to hell. When he went to hell, he found it was beautiful landscape, and whatever he wanted to eat or drink or do whatever he wanted, everything was available. It was fabulous. And he thought, wow, this outbids heaven altogether. So he came back to heaven and he said, I think I opt to go to hell. And the guy said, well, you can choose to go to hell, but it's only one. Once you choose, you can't come back. He said, yeah, but I choose. I've seen it and I want to go. So he was signed up and he went to hell. When he went there, he was straight put into the burning oil, kind of hot oil that was there, boiling hot oil, and then into a fire, and then on to lie down on a bed of spikes. He said, Papa, I came here yesterday and I saw it was wonderful. Oh, that, he said, you met our marketing department. This is the real hell. And that is how, I mean, it's a joke, but I think there's a lot of truth behind the joke in terms of how things operate in that sense. Or here we are. So advertisement uses sensual and beautiful models. I told you the eye gate, and that is how it captivates. Now, women, it's usage of feel gates, and therefore you can be manipulated by using the feel gate. Some other time we can talk about it. And so here it is, Giovanni. All right, spoke to you about models and whatever, another model. All right, here we are. It bypasses the authority figures. See, it undermines the authority figures, and you know where it says in the Bible when he's talking about it, that is Satan is talking. He says, now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, did God really say you must not eat of any tree? See, the way he's saying is, causing you to feel, you 21st century, still believing this, undermines whatever is the authority figure that is there. And so here it is. Now I told you, envy, pride, rebel. Now the thing is that they want to use these kind of things. Have you heard of rebel genes? So you have rebel genes also. I have seen a perfume called Poison, and I've seen perfume called Seduction. So these words we teach in the Sunday school, avoid. But that is being sold in the market. So Poison is there, Seduction is there, and that's supposed to be a good brand. You can use it. So you are getting immunized against these words. Tomorrow a preacher may speak about, we must be, it's good because we have been using it. And so that is how it is. If I may say so, when it comes to advertisement, creates doubts about established rules. It creates doubts about established rules. He said to the woman, did God really say, you must not eat of any tree from the garden? Who should tell you which one you should eat, which one you should not eat? He just just creates doubt about everything. And it suggests that you ignore warning. And now Adam and Eve were allowed to eat every fruit or every tree in the garden except one. But it produces discomfort. Why should that one be denied to you? And that is how our tendencies. If there is a door and there is a hole, it is written on the top, do not peep. Or if there is a corner, it says, do not throw waste here. Or many times I find on the staircase, people have, spit after eating pan. So they clean it up and say, do not spit here. So people are looking to spit. Then they see that board, the first thing they do is that. So do not spit or do not urinate here, then that's where they go. So what is it that is said? That is a tendency to rebel against whatever is the order and undermines. So we need to here to break we don't want any rules. Our one rule is we want no rules. And so that is how Satan wants to promote the whole thing. So suggest that you ignore the warning. And we are told we must wear a helmet. I was coming into Bangalore, coming into Pune, driving from Mumbai, and my taxi driver was saying, "Sir, ये पुणे में ना लोग helmet नहीं पहनते." And as we are going along, he showed me pointing out, देखो उधर देखो उधर देखो उधर देखो, because nobody is wearing helmet. So the point made is, I don't want rules. I know what is happening. Nothing is going to happen. I don't want to take a warning. I just want to do, I want to be a free bird. And so that tendency is stirred up in us, though the rule for helmet is for our safety and our protection, not every time, but 5 or 10 times perhaps. If we meet an accident, if our head can be saved, then probably life can be saved. So those kind of things. So it suggests that you ignore warnings and undermine the warnings that are there. And Genesis 3:4 says, and she said, yes, God said you can eat from any tree, but except this tree, if you eat of it, you will die. And he said, you will surely not die. The serpent said to the one, you will not die. And he is directly undermining. कुछ नहीं होता है. Helmet मत पहनो, कुछ नहीं होता है. And so सिगरेट नहीं पीने का क्या होता है, मैं तो दररोज पीता है. So not that we are promoting, but I'm saying that there is we ignore. I was staying in suburbs of Mumbai, a place called Thane. I had a local family doctor, and we used to, those who went to see the doctor, there was a bench, a couple of benches on which we all sat. There was a door and the doctor sat there, and whoever was the patient, his turn came and he would sit next to him, and they would ask, what is your problem? He'll say, I've got this problem. Then the doctor would take him inside and then examine him. So there was one man from UP. He came and sat down, and the doctor checked with him. And the doctor said to him, in Hindi, how many times I have told you, you stop smoking. Your lung is filled with tar. More than half your lung is all jammed up. And if you continue, you will get lung cancer or you'll die of some bronchial issues. I was sitting there, I was watching all the other patients. All of them were laughing. So who were they laughing at? The man from UP? No, they were laughing at the doctor. Because this is how it went. Doctor said, मैं तुमको कितना बार बोला है सिगरेट मत पियो, तुम्हारा फेफड़ा खराब हो गया, और इसलिए ऐसे तो नुकसान हो जाए, तुम मर जाएगा. So who is going to listen to that doctor? Yeah. So what is his warning? Meaningless. And that is how it is. And I was amused to see all the patients laughing because his lifestyle spoke exactly opposite of his counsel. And that is what your life speaks louder than your words. And so it suggests that you ignore the warning. You think that that man from UP is going to say, correct, sir, my lungs, I will go home and change it. He's saying, it doesn't look like it is working for you. Why should I follow that whole thing? Now, by the way, I'm using only 3 or 4 things, whether it is, but I suppose it applies to every product that is there. And many people tend to believe that what happens to others will not happen to them. Helmet pehnega to somebody else, not me. I am all right. So cigarette, I'm all right. That all that you tell me is, they want to ignore those warnings that are there. And they want to feel that I am special, privileged, favored, and I am taking all the checks and balances. I'm all right. And therefore they continue doing their wrong choices. And they think they are in control. And day by day, they are losing control over themselves. And that is why this problem remains. All right. Then advertisement creates what happened? उसका बैटरी आउट हो गया. नो, लेकिन ऊपर के लाइट नहीं है. और थर्ड मैंने प्रेस की, सॉरी. So here it is, killer jeans. भाई सब ऊपर बैठे हैं. Or 3 ladies are there on the floor, all of them in a particular position, saying inviting him, as it were, and therefore it is a suggestive kind of advertisement, and he's thinking which one, inky pinky ponky, is thinking which one that is there. That is the killer jeans that is there. So agar ye jeans pehnoge to tumko aise choices milenge. तो now the trouble is bakwas hai, lekin this is what we buy into, this is what influences, this is what our eye gate captures it and wants to think of it. I do not know what effect it has on the man. Does he feel like going and buying killer jeans, or does it have effect on the women to find out who's wearing killer jeans? I don't know. Advertisement creates discontentment. I told you already the 1-door fridge and the 3 doors or 4 doors fridge, already told you about. It creates discontentment. बाहर का देखो, अंदर का भी देखो, जो दोनों साइड से देखो, लेकिन it produces discontentment. As I said, neighbors envy, owners pride, and there are lines which are saying, you have come a long way, baby. So that's how it is used. And those who mock and reject moral standards have come a long way, but that is the wrong way. And we need to be very careful. And it ignores warning, and we should be careful. Produces discontentment. Genesis 3:5 says, this is Satan speaking to Eve. God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. And therefore, Satan is convincing Eve that she was missing a vital ingredient to a happy and successful life. In reality, God had already given her everything she needed for her happiness and security and for her fulfillment. But alluring advertisement promotes attitudes to self-rejection and discontentment. It focuses on what we do not have, and it encourages instant gratification. It says, you owe it to yourself. Philosophy. You deserve this. You must have this vacation. Go to Standard Chartered Bank. A credit card says you must take a loan and you must go. You deserve a vacation. You have worked hard. So, that is how it is feeding us. You are missing that glorious vacation to Thailand or some Phuket, which has cost you a lot of money. It's not Phuket. It's cost you a lot of money. So that is how it is. And that discontentment is causing the problem, and this discontentment is really that can affect you very much. It also causes an independent spirit. It produces an independent spirit. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Now, if God has made Adam and Eve and God has blessed them with the garden, God has given them everything to eat, live, shelter, food, shelter, we have. So obviously God is greater, we are under him. But Satan is saying, no, if you eat of this fruit, you will become equal. You don't have to be accountable to him. Then you can be your own God. You can do whatever you want. So that tendency is the one that is promoted. So this idea of certain power, prestige, position, possession is promoted in order for you to break rules, feel discontent, and allures you to get that at any and every cost. So that's very the way it works in people's life. I get, it's one of the cigarette advertisements says, I get what I want. I already told you, live life king size, rule the world. These are all similar words than what I just now read for you, that you will be like God. And this is what happened. Satan's basic temptation of Eve was to be her own boss and to have equal rights with the husband and equal rights with God. Eve assumed that if she were to eat the forbidden fruit, she would have all that she needed to become independent. Let's go further. Advertisement appeals through human reasoning. Now, it says that then Eve looked at the fruit, saw that it was good, that it was appealing to her eyes, and that it was good to eat. All right. Now, what is it saying is, Bible says the way temptation comes is by lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and pride of life. 3 things. This is what happened. She saw it was good. Now, she is judging whether to eat or not to eat by her senses and by her logic, by her reasoning, by her senses. She said it was good to look at. It was appealing to the eyes, and it was good for food. She is using her own abilities to take a judgment, to take a call. Now, I want to tell you, our best of the abilities are no match for God's commandments and God's moral values. And if we were to decide what I feel good, I will do it, that is disaster. We need to say, no, there is an objective, awesome, absolute truth God has established, and I must honor that, though it may feel sometimes this is a little bit harsh or difficult or problem. This is made for me for my good, and if I follow it in the long run, I'm going to see the benefit of it. If I were to use my reason, my logic, my understanding, she did it and it led to a disaster. She was dispossessed of heaven altogether. She was out of the Garden of Eden altogether. So her own judgment, her own ability. So we say, I will do what I want. I often find at a junction of roads, everybody's trying, there's no signals, everybody's trying to get in. What is that? Chock-a-block. So when chock-a-block is there, I use a statement made in the Bible. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. If everybody did what was right in his own eyes, chock-a-block, traffic jam. But if somebody followed the rules, red signal in stop, green signal in go. If they followed, there'll be no traffic jam. It will just run smoothly. But each one wants to do right in his own eyes. So I saw one drama. There was a stage. One man walked from here, another man walked from here. This man who was walking up the stage, he had a board in his neck which said, hedonism. Hedonism. So another guy came from the opposite side, and they both looked, and the other guy is reading hedonism. What is hedonism? He said, you don't know hedonism? No. He said, this is the in thing now. He said, fine, but what is it? It says it means do whatever you feel is good. Whatever you feel is right, do that. He said, really? Are you suggesting that's the in thing? Yeah. Do whatever you feel right. If each one did what was right, this is the result. This is the result. So we cannot do what each one feels right. It has to be an objectivity, and there is no objectivity. So that is the problem with this whole thing. It appeals to human reasoning, and human reasoning is limited. We need a divine reasoning. And if you adequately wait on God, you will know, yes, this law seems a little bit quaint, different, but you wait on it, you'll see that it is already beneficial for us. It promotes self-fulfillment at all costs. Do what you want, and if you feel I want self-fulfillment, I deserve it and I want it. So that can really result in a very dangerous thing. So that's what it is. Further, reward yourself. Fulfillment at all costs. All right? Reward yourself. What does this one say? Reward yourself this winter. So reward yourself. You deserve it. You only want to do what you want to do. You do that. So it is only telling you what you want to do. So that's how it is. If you go further, Standard Chartered Bank. You want to make the most of your holidays. We maximize it with extra reward points. So by the Standard Chartered, which be whatever they approve. So advertisement appeals to the lust of the eye already, and that is the eye gate, and it appeals to the lust of the eye. So here it is, Revlon. Something is there. I do not know what it say, Revlon. And there's also another one. It's another product that is there. And but notice eyes are being used, and Eve had never tasted the forbidden fruit. She had tasted other fruits that were very delicious and enjoyable. When she considered violating God's limitation, she allowed her eye to associate the forbidden fruit with previous pleasurable experiences. The fruit itself was appealing to the eye. Alluring advertisement uses pictures of elegant, living, beautiful, in this case women, and rugged macho men to imply that these things come with buying that particular product. And so can you see yourself with eyes like this? Not only advertisers use sensually suggestive models to sell their products, but they also encourage women to overemphasize their own eyes. And God warns men, do not let the lust in your heart alter beauty or do not let lust in your heart to lust after beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyes. And sometimes if you have seen movies, and then a guy is there, a simpleton walking around, and then there is a girl there, she does like this, and he pani pani ho jata hai. So that is what it is. The eyes are the one that really captivate that person completely. So eyes play a very powerful role, and we got to be careful of that. कुछ प्रॉब्लम है प्लीज है okay, offers fulfillment apart from God. So that is what it is. Okay, apart from God. So now advertisement deceives by misleading phrases. All right, now look at this cigarette. I'll tell you what it says. Blow in her face and she'll follow you anywhere. Blow in her face and she'll follow you anywhere. All right. Advertisement hides the product's weakest points. It hides the product's weakest points. So that's what it is. And the lives of other people are damaged. As I said, if you are smoking in the house, everybody else is going to be affected by the secondhand smoke. If you are not wearing a helmet, and if you're having your wife and your kid traveling on it, you're putting everyone's life at risk. If you're got drunkenness with your wine or hard drinks, then it's going to affect your economy and it's going to affect all your family members. So lives of other people are damaged because of the wrong choices we are making. In case of Eve, she not only damaged herself, she damaged Adam as well. And Adam was the bigger fool to follow what she said instead of following what God did. Therefore, the sin in the Bible that happened in the Garden of Eden, the first person to sin was who? It was not Adam, it was Adam. First person who sinned was Eve. Because he listened to her, it became Adam's sin, and therefore, throughout the Bible, it is called Adam's sin. You see, even some years ago, there was a railway accident that took place in South India. Some signalman failed. Recently, we had one, but signalman failed. The railway minister, Lal Bahadur Shastri, resigned. Why did he resign? He said, I take onus for my department. We are responsible for whatever goes wrong in our department. And Adam was probably sleeping or looking somewhere else, not protecting his wife when she was talking, when that Mr. Serpent was talking to her. And so he should have be on guard, because he said he was with her. He didn't listen. He didn't protect her. So it was not known as Eve's sin. What we all get is Adam's sin. His corrupt genes have gone on to all of us. So that is where it is. All right, here we go. The loss is usually irrevocable. There is blame and justification. The difficulty of life increases with this whole thing. The fruit of destruction begins. So you can see consequences of alluring advertisement. All this happens in our life. All right, here we go. And therefore, how to build sales research? At the end of the day, we'll build sales. Expect salesmen to overrate their products. Expect salesmen to overrate their products. We need to be careful about this. We like the less wrinkles in only minutes. Me included, about four or five of us can buy this product. All of us above 60. We can change and become young like all of you if we buy this product in minutes. Wow. Now, so they expect the salesman to overrate their product. All right, here we go. Expect salesmen to learn to enjoy the possessions you have. How to learn to enjoy the possession. Let's enjoy what we have. What we have, let's enjoy it. And so you will find that it becomes much more useful. Don't look at what we don't have. Look what we have. Someone told a story of a guy, a king was standing in his balcony. He was looking down, and he saw beyond his compound, there is one very poor man who was a woodcutter. He went and he used to go every day, cut wood and sell it. And then he would come home. His wife would clean up the house, prepare some meal. They would come home in the evening. He'll bring the money, and then they will eat, and they will drink a cup of tea sitting in that open area just outside the door. And they will, have some lovey-dovey talk. And the king said to his minister, I am having everything, but I'm not happy like this couple who's only a woodcutter living in a hutment and doing wood cutting, and they look so happy. He said, that is because they don't belong to 99 club. He said, 99 club. He said, you give me 99 gold coins and I'll tell you what it is. So the king gave him 99 gold coins. And when the woodcutter went to work, this man went and dropped 99 gold coins at the doorstep, knocked on the door and went away. The lady of the house opened the door and there was a packet with this 99 gold coins. She took it inside and she was whole day thinking, where on earth did this 99 gold coins came? Evening, the husband came, she showed it to him and they were saying, wow, how did he get it? She said, I don't know. Somebody knocked on the door. It was at the door. It is like given to us. Okay. And they just said they were so delighted. They cannot even in 100 lifetimes get this 100, 99 gold coin. Then they said, but we have 99. Wish we had 100. Satya tera satyanash. He said, I will work hard. I will work double time. And she said, I will also find a job. So he went to work double hard. She went to go find another job to collect money so they can buy the 100th gold coin. Result is both working, both coming exhausted. They both tried. She didn't make her tea. He got angry with her. And so then what was a beautiful, wonderful love became then they became wife beating and he got upset and he got drunk and life went down. So then the king said, yeah, when they belong to 99 club, then that is the end of the whole thing. I wonder sometimes that is so true about our lives. So learn to enjoy the possessions you have. You got 99, hallelujah, just enjoy that. Why go for that one coin that is there, which produces discontentment? Make use of the things in life that are free. All right. So what should we do? We want to enjoy life. We go to the nearby joint and have a burger or have a pizza or have anything. Or पैसा नहीं है, कम है, बजट में है, क्या करें? You go to the nearby park, which is free entry, and you buy 5 रुपए का चना या 10 रुपए का सिंग, and एक-एक करके. If you are on a tight budget, I tell you that will help you. Enjoy life which is freely available in a simplicity. You don't have to have a burger and pizza only to get the life's enjoyment. It depends on how you live your life. You go for the 100th coin of the 99 club, then you are in trouble. So make use of things that are free in life. Most of the things are free in life. And build personal disciplines of resistance in the whole place. You make your adequate inquiry. So here is some few things to close with. Personal disciplines and how they build sales resistance. Schedule times of fasting after checking with your physician what are good for your fasting. That means you must learn to say no, builds up self-control, and possessions lose their appeal. Read wisdom literature every day. That is one proverb a day. And one proverb a day will help you. Wrong types of people will be identified and the motives exposed. So you will book of proverbs, 131 proverbs for 31 days. You will ensure that your practical domestic day-to-day living will be well fortified. Learn to donate to worthy causes, so you will learn to manage with less and you will be able to bless others. Treasures and affections are transferred to heaven. And then find out the full price before evaluating a product. All right? Let me just use this. Check. So find out the full price before evaluating a product. Do some homework. Use the almighty Google. That will help you to get sort out many things that is there. That is where the Google is helpful. Anything else may be dangerous. But emotions are not allowed to overrule sound lesson. That gentleman from the Navy who kept only some few rupees in his pocket because he could not buy in the spur of the moment, he had to go home. By then, that delay caused sense to prevail over him. So that helps. So then his emotions have gone down and he's developed sales resistance. By the way, he came to me and gave me 5,000 rupees and he says, if anybody's in debt, help them to get out of it, but tell them the same thing you taught me, so that as I was set free of debts, he will also be set free. So maintain a pure thought life, so that if your thought life is pure, it is not possession on this brand, that thing, etc. You will be focused on the contentment that you find in God. Alluring advertising which uses sensuality will be avoided. Seek out counsel before buying. Impulse buying will be eliminated. Just check with one or two others. What do you think? And they will tell you the flip side. Often we don't know. Like I told you today, the flip side of Marlboro. Like that, you will know always there is a flip side. And so once you know the flip side, it will make a beautiful difference. Pray for and about needed items. Instead of just going and buying it, pray about it. Then better sense will prevail and you'll get a caution in your heart. No, wait, that will be helpful. Supernatural provisions and direction will be experienced. You may not have to buy it. Perhaps God will give you in some other way. Avoid going to sales on items that you are not intending to buy. Like वो एक husband बोलता है अरे भाई बारिश हो गई, I am worried about my wife. तो उसका दोस्त बोला वो ये worried, अरे if it is raining she will enter into some shop. He said that is why I am worried. When a wife does window shopping, then it is an invitation for a lot of things. And I saw this, then I saw this also. And it was on 50% discount. I spent 5,000 rupees, but I've saved 5,000. So it is free of cost. All right. Items that you do not need will not be purchased because of that. Check with your spouse before buying. So give yourself the privilege to say, any item above 50, I need the permission of my spouse. Think about it. Up to 50, you have the privilege to buy it. I just gave 50. You want to make it 10, you can make it 10 rupees. So if you put yourself some limit, you have a limit up to so much, then the chances of you losing anything which will affect you, damage you is avoided. So consult your spouse altogether. And so here as I close, here is a thing. This is just a way to encourage us. You don't have to really do anything, but it says personal commitment to building sales resistance. From this day forward, my expenditures will be guarded and guided by the disciplines required for wise sales resistance. I will analyze advertising and require documentation for advertising claim. And you can, as it were, sign date means you have to just make a commitment in your heart, pledge that, yes, I will be careful. I say you will save yourself a lot of mishaps. So little bit haste makes waste, and therefore you can protect yourself from all damage. All right, so I have finished. Open for Q&A.
If there is any questions, you can raise it up. I saw, what is the best way to save money during the Amazon billion day sale, the big billions? Yeah, the best way, not to know what is the title, but what is the best way to save money on the Amazon big billion sales offer? What's the best way? Oh, you have a question? Okay. Yeah, we'll come to mine later. Why don't you just share your question?
Good evening, Uncle. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
I mean, we are into business, and these kind of seminars actually kill them. But one thing is,
that means as a business person, you are putting such advertisements. Sorry,
we have to.
Yeah, okay,
absolutely.
all right.
Absolutely have to, because
Okay.
this is one reason we are doing the seminar.
Okay.
Absolutely, just because
Sure.
if people don't have that resistance, we really cannot survive.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is one reason I wanted to understand. Like, for example, if we are posting an ad or creating an ad for marketing, what are those actual aspects that we can look into just to ensure that we can build in that business and also not fool people?
Right.
That is the kind of info I just want.
Okay. So, yeah, very good question. And I appreciate it coming from a businessman. And I think your question has a lot of depth in it. So my suggestion is that when you advertise a product, you advertise the product for what it is worth. All right. By that, I mean it. Suppose you are advertising a car. Let's say your product is car. Then it is so many cylinders, so many horsepower, so much displacement, so many cc's, whatever is the torque that produces, and the features of that car, which are objective exactly as it is. You are not fooling people. If it is 40 horsepower, you are not saying 80 horsepower. You are not fooling. So as much as you are giving the unique salient features of your product, which means you're doing it out of integrity of a product that is well designed, well thought through, well conceived, and whatever it is. I think if you do that way, the person will see what you're saying is what actually you get. You're not being, the customer is not being fooled. No customer said, you said this, but this is how it is. Nobody will say that. Whatever was there, he is clearly displayed. So I think if that product is, if you advertise in that manner, there will be integrity behind it and it will work very well. So now that is as far as you as a businessman are concerned. I'll tell you what I have done. I wanted to give my house on rent. So I informed people. So buyers came. So they told me, show me your house. So I showed them the house. So I told them, look, here is a balcony. The balcony has a view that you can see for long period around. The depth of the balcony is good. You want to sit and have tea over here, it will be good enough, etc. I just showed them everything. I said, the negative features of this house is, on one occasion, there was a heavy rain. The terrace on the top got clogged. There was water accumulated, and it 3-4 different places it leaked, and you can see those telltale marks. And there is a wet patch over here. All right. So I cannot guarantee that it will not rain, it will not leak. And if anything happens, you won't want to do it. You may want to do something, applying coat of some, waterproofing. But this is as it is. This is how it is. Up to you to decide whether it is worth taking. This is my deposit. This is my rent. So they say, okay, reduce 500 rupees and I will 500 rupees rent and I will take it. I said, okay, done. So in no way am I cheating him. I have played with an open game. In the process, I have lost 500 rupees, but I'm okay because I am giving him a house which has that risk that is there. And so I think if you do that, the man will trust your word. He knows that you have integrity behind the whole thing. I was working in a company where we have to bag orders. Before I became pastor, bag orders. Now, my colleagues who were there would tell me, some of them say they are asking you whether you can deliver it in 7 days. But we cannot deliver in 7 days. This will require 12 days, 14 days, whichever. Tum bol do, send me ho jayega. I said, no, I will not say. We cannot deliver. So when the guy calls and say, oh, I wanted it in 7 days. I said, no, we cannot give it to you before 12 days. I may try hard, but 11 days is possible, but I will commit myself to you for 12 days. So that guy will shout at me, then I cannot give you the order. I said, sir, it's up to you. You asked me, so I told you. So at first shot, they didn't want to place the order. But as time went by, they said, if this guy says 12 days, he will deliver it in 12 days. His word is his integrity. His life will bet on it. So they said, tell me. Well, I said 12 days. Okay, done. Take this. And so they said there are many people who will say 7 days, hota hai, chalta hai, karta hai, and 21 days guy, they never deliver the products. So they say, I trust what you're saying. And if you're saying it. So I think in the long run, it works on our favor because our integrity is what the product stands on. So our values, our integrity, our honesty, though we are selling the product or whatever it is in a right way, I think it will give you a right way. That would be my appeal in the process.
Thanks, Andrew. That's a nice question. Anybody else? Yes, Naveen, lady the mic.
Hello. Like there was one case scenario for Tata Nano. In their advertisement, they used the word cheap. So the sale was like down. But then Ratan Tata introduced Nano with the diamond on it, and then they told that it is instead of cheap they use the word affordable. So you just now told that if we are if we are honest with the customer, then the sale will be up and all those things. So the features of the Nano was not changed. In their market strategy, they replaced the word cheap with the affordable. So why then the customer or the people who you want to buy was not accepting that marketing when they use the word cheap? The features and everything was the same.
Okay. So one has to use the right word, right choice of words when you are marketing anything that is there, because each word has its associated values. So the word cheap has associated value, means cheap and kacharpati, doesn't have, will be not long lasting. What they meant earlier, cheap, was meaning it is at a value you can afford. So the affordable is a reasonable equivalent word for the word cheap. They meant affordable, but they wrote cheap. And therefore, they had to correct it by writing the word affordable. They didn't change the product or change the any features of it, but they used the right word. One has to be careful how you portray yourself. Now, this marketing thing that is told, that there is a let's say this Rin washing soap. I'm just using that. This is not the Rin, but so frame one is dirty cloth. Frame 2, that this dirty cloth is put in a bucket which contains Rin. And frame 3, out comes very super white product. So this product is being advertised. Abhi, it sells well. Rin, magic Rin, whatever. Now the same thing was taken to the Middle East section, and these 3 frames were put. 0 sales. Now the reason is, in the Middle East, they read from right to left. Yeah. So you have to change. But you change, that change is to communicate in a way or in a mannerism which is affording to them. And again, I don't remember the name. Ford produced one car and a model. I don't remember the name, but if you do some Googling, you'll know. They did a model which was extremely successful, a particular model. And so then they introduced the same model in Brazil because it was very... Whatever, some model. Let's think some model, A1 model. Let's use the word A1. A1 model was used, and that was very popular. Everybody, that model was popular. Saying they used the same model A1 there, and nobody was buying it because in their language, A1 is a bad word. So what was very successful, and still it is A1, but they had to rechange the name to put a name which will be understood by the Brazilians properly. So I think that in this case, it is a new country, Arabia or Middle East, where they use from right to left, and in the case of Brazil, whatever. But in our own culture, there is some words that we use. If I were to say, in my childhood days, my grandmother was gay and happy. If I say it now, my grandmother was gay, it will communicate a different meaning. Yeah. What was gay then was your just happiness. But the word gay now is different. So I have to change that. So one has to be careful in wording. So I don't think here there is any lack of integrity, in my opinion. I'm saying it is pure my opinion. My opinion matlab is not very valuable. You can take it or leave it. You can judge. But I think there is, but if it is saying something else, thoda jada bada ka exaggeration karke diya, then it is, I think then they are digressing on the integrity. Yeah. Any other question?
Can you just take one more? Yeah, Rajesh, go for it. Oh yeah, you need the mic. We'll take this last one and then we'll pray and then we'll have some refreshments.
Thank you, Uncle, for a wonderful seminar. In the first slide, you said about the envy, jealous, and pride, right? For example, I have a desire to hold a brand car or some X and YZ brand. Okay. When I decide that there is another way to say you enjoy what you have.
Yes.
So there is a word called jealous, and I have a desire, enjoy what you want. So I want to relate to myself, whether the desire of my heart, right? Can I go that or work for that, or I can enjoy it, or I can this kind of jealous, or how do I can deal with this? So I decide something I want. Maybe if I'm jealous or somehow I decided this, I'm working. So how can I be related to this to be towards good, but not in terms of this?
Particular issues.
Yes.
Okay. So, so I have used a few cars, for example, and the car that I have currently have, which is given to me by the church, I don't own any car, it's only given to me, is an Ertiga car. Ertiga car, you may be aware of Ertiga car. So why did I choose Ertiga? We are only two people. I don't even have my children with me. So why do I need a 7-seater Ertiga? Okay. Is it that I want to feel something? I want to, feel more powerful, whatever, as you described. I want to feel an enjoyment. I want to feel a fulfillment. I didn't look at those things. The things that I looked at was that I use my car to take many people to church, bring them back, pick them up. When I was in Bombay, there was using the Ertiga. We used to bring guests from the airport or from the railway station as they came as speakers for our Bible college. So they would come, and then they would also have luggage. So it needed a lot of space for luggage. So when you fold the last seat, then you have space for the luggage. So it has the facility of a MUV, multi-purpose utility vehicle, and so it has the scope for that. And so that was the other reason. If I start jotting down, these are the benefits I have, which cars give me that benefit? So an Ertiga gives me, costing those days 10 lakhs, or a Toyota Innova gives me, but costing 18 lakhs those days. And as I measure some 4 or 5 models, I find this one gives me best value for its worth. So I feel it is good. Now, secondarily, it may be good for my enjoyment. Secondarily, it may be good because I feel good. But that is not my goal. It is not wrong to have enjoyment. It is not wrong to have the goal. But my primary thing is the practicality by which I am using this particular car is cartaging of luggage, transporting. Sometimes we have camps where we have to transport all our, PA system and everything. So then we fold all the chairs and flush the whole car with the lot of. So it's a multi-purpose MUV, and I think I needed an MUV. Though we are technically only 2, it is not only used by us; it is used for a whole church purpose. So I think if that is thought in mind, and if you feel your car, whichever brand, model, what you have, is going to meet all that you're practically what you need, then it must go ahead, must have it. But if you say, so in this case, the brand is Ertiga, Suzuki brand. It's another thing about it is that a Suzuki brand has got service centers everywhere. Spare parts are economical, available. Any technician is able to replace it, some repair. So I find, unlike some other products where if you want to replace a mirror that is broken is 20,000 rupees, I say, this is much better for even maintenance. Economy for running also is there. So all roundedly, if I tick mark, I will find it is a very helpful. So like that, if you look at it from that angle, why not? And if you have a choice of 2 cars, this and this also scores well, this also scores well. This is a little expensive, this is a little cheaper, but this fits your budget. Why not buy that one? Get the better one. It has got 1 or 2 extra features. Go for it. So I think it is okay. But if you're saying it has to do with my status, it has to do with what will people say about me, what will be the impression I will make on people, and I will come. Now that would be a wrong drive. So pride, jealousy, envy, those will be wrong motivators. Now suppose in the process you come with a certain car and people may say, wow, he is driving that car. They may say, that's okay. You're not affected by whether they say or don't say. That is okay. By all means, you can have that. Okay?
Pray for us that will be good stewards of our money.
Okay. And I'll pray for the food as well. Let's pray. Father, we just pray in the name of Jesus that you will produce in our hearts a heart of contentment, a heart that enjoys what you have already provided for us and enjoy to the full, so that we don't dwell on what we do not have, but dwell on what we do have. And Lord, above everything else, may we enjoy our relationship with you. May we enjoy that you love us to the uttermost, that you sent your son Jesus to die for us, that having your son Jesus, we don't need anything else. Than itself is more than adequate. All other things are extra bonuses, but the real thing is relationship with you. Pray that we will be absolutely content in what we have. Pray, Lord, you will give us special filters and ability to be objective, to do analysis, to do research, to take advice in order before we buy anything, so that, Lord, we will develop adequate sales resistance and that we will not fall a prey to all the false media marketing devices. Bless us and be with us. Lord, we also thank you for the food that is being arranged. We pray you bless this food, bless all those who work behind the scenes to labor for us. And I pray, bless our fellowship as we continue to meet each other. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.